All right. Let's have some fun today. Today we are going to be diving in a little bit deeper into how to get started flipping houses, making $10,000 to $20,000 per month per deal, however way. Essentially, it's per deal, okay? And if you can increase the frequency of how you close deals, then it can be per month or multiple times a month if you want. If you can figure out how to increase the frequency, because frequency is everything when it comes to the game of entrepreneurship. You don't get paid per hour, you get paid for every single time you close a deal, right? Every time you create results. So my name is Ola. I'm the founder here at myEmpirePRO.com, and we're gonna have some fun today. I do want to cover some basics, some details. Today, the goal of today is I'm not just gonna show you how to get started flipping houses. I'm gonna show you how. I'm gonna share the story of how I got started with you. Okay, and after that, we're gonna dive into some of the other videos on this topic that are ranking, and we're gonna look at some of the comment and questions in the comment area and see if we can learn some more stuff here. Okay, so today I'll be hanging out with you for another 28 minutes, or maybe a little bit more, depending on the energy here. So if you're here, you're brand new here, I want you to do me a favor. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because I will be here talking about this stuff all the time. Also, if you're completely brand new here, I want you to go ahead to myEmpirePRO.com. You should be able to see a link. Okay, you'll be able to see a link to 1 second here. You see a link on the description box, okay, that can take you to where you can literally download. There you go. So this is the free stuff that I'm giving away today. I'm giving away a free book called Empire Lifestyle Secrets. It's a breakdown step by step of exactly how I run my business today. I've been through a lot of ups and downs in the game of real estate entrepreneurship and marketing, and I want to share everything I know with you in 200 pages. Empire Lifestyle Secrets. You can go ahead and download it absolutely for free. In addition to that, as a bonus, you're gonna have access to this 7 days course, video course, which is about smart business empire. Actually, that's the title, Smart Business Empire. Okay, so you want to go ahead and get access to the book, and it will automatically give you access to this. Okay. Now, if you're here and you don't know where to find motivated seller, we're going to talk about motivated seller. Write this down right now, myempirepro.com/redx. That's essentially where you're going to find it. So, like I said today, I want to share with you my story, okay, of exactly how I got started in real estate. And then after that, I'm going to share with you this. I'm going to blaze a bit quick, very quickly through this 5 steps right here. If you want details of these 5 steps, my previous video that I did just before this video, um, let me see if I can tell you exactly what it's called. Let's see here. I'll tell you exactly what that video is called so you can search for it. That video, well, you want to search for the title and then put Ola, my name, next to it. So the name of that video is What is Wholesale House Flipping? So all you have to do is type in what is wholesale house flipping, Ola, and that video should come up, and I can show you actually that right now in an example. Let's go to youtube.com. Okay. All right. So this is us live right now. All right. So so if you go to what is wholesale real estate, what is real wholesale house flipping, Ola. So put my name right next to it. This video right here will share in details these 5 steps that I will kind of like summarize here today. And but you can watch this video for exactly the details, okay? Or you can simply you can also go through if you want, you can also go through myempirepro.com/blog, okay? And you can search for that title. It should, let's see, is there a search box here? This is the, depending on when you're watching this video, of course. But once you're at, you click the first post that you see. And if it wasn't the first post, you simply want to type in what is wholesale house flipping. I'm just giving multiple ways to get to this same video, or to search for any video on our platform for that matter, any topic when it regards to marketing and real estate investing, real estate professional. This is where you want to find it. Okay. So when you search here, when I click search right here, it should bring up this video right here. All right. So you can see the details from 1 to 5 of the breakdown of that content right there. Okay. So that's that. So with that being said, let me switch screens back to my face while I tell you the story of exactly how I got started in the game. So it was I went to my college years. My college years was essentially between 1998, which was mostly wasted time in studying engineering science at the community college called Middlesex County College in New Jersey. And I spent about 3 semesters there, and I only gained about 18 credits. So I transferred those 18 credits, which I did more than 18 credits, but I only was able to transfer 18 credit to NJIT, where I studied engineering, computer engineering, and I went all the way through my master's degree into engineering management, focused on project management, which I did up till 2005. So in 2005, by 2004, when I graduated college, I had kind of known that I I'd been exposed to the possibilities in the entrepreneurship business world. I've always been a self-starter since I can remember. I've always been that kid that's always trying to create something in the backyard with whatever was available. In other words, I was very my brain was always, it was more oriented towards being more resourceful than always asking for others to give me resources. That's just the way my brain is oriented. Um, so since I've been a kid, I was raised in Africa. I was born here, raised in Africa, and all through that process, when I finished high school in Africa, I even went back to my school to create a concert. These are things that I'm now thinking back, that I'm saying, because I hear everybody talk about their story when entrepreneurship started, and I noticed something that's very common among all of them. They all didn't start now or start within the last few. They started as kids. There's always like a little bit of a sign in them that they were meant to be entrepreneurs. And for me, it was kind of like the same thing. Again, I'm just thinking back now. Within the past 1 or 2 years, I started to think back, like maybe I've always added in me. So the truth is, I've always added in me to collect things around me and use it to create something brand new, right? And that has always been my style. Okay. So again, what I'm doing right here is I'm telling you my story of how I got started in real estate, in flipping houses. Okay. So yeah, I went through college. The reason why I went to college was it's just what you do when you are a Nigerian. You're born to Nigerian parents, or that's just what you do. Like that's, how we go to the bathroom to go poop every day. Like that's just what you do. That's what you do. Going to college is what you do, right? And studying engineering was what you do. So study to become a doctor is what you do. To become a lawyer is what you do. You don't go to study psychology. Okay, nothing against it. I'm just telling you what it is. Okay, nothing against psychology, because frankly, honestly, today I feel like psychology would be a lot more valuable for what I do than probably engineering. Uh, I would say that last year. Today, I believe everything I've done up to now has made up who I am. So again, I went through college. I finished college in 2005. With a master's degree, but I graduated with a bachelor degree in 2004. And as soon as I graduated, I started to think like, okay, I missed out on internship. I never did any type of internship, and the specific reason why I didn't do internship was I couldn't really make any sense out of it, right? You want me to do college because that's just what you do? Let's just do college and finish it. So if there's a way to get around any type of class or any type of responsibility in college, I would get around it. just so I can get by and just get the freaking degree, the certificate, and get away and and get on with my life. That was essentially why I went through college. So I didn't do any kind of co-op or internship or anything that could prepare me for the job market when I was done. So when I was done with this degree, I had this document that I was given, and I didn't exactly know what to do with it, and then I started to, for the first time, visit the what they call it, the job placement office at NGIT, my school, my alma mater, right? And I started to visit that office, and I would just be lost. I would just notice that I'm just lost, and trying to figure out, it's just not something that was of interest to me. So so that was why I picked up my master's degree right away. They told me, hey, they got me 2 credits from a graduate class that I took in my last year in under my undergraduate, and they said I just need a couple more classes or something like that, then I'll get a master's degree. So I took the next 2 semesters full time, and got my master's degree. And to be honest with you, my GPA in my first degree was horrible. It was really bad. I just barely got enough to graduate. Right. So I also used the master's degree to prove to myself that I can get a 4.0. Okay, so I don't think I got a 4.0. I think I probably got a 3.8 or something like that in my master with my master's degree, which was a way for me to prove to myself that I still got it, because throughout my elementary, which we call primary in Nigeria, throughout my secondary high school, right? I've always been at the top of the class. I've always competed very hard to be at the top of the class, and I've always done very well. Distinctions. If you don't know what that means, you go Google it, right? That it just means straight A's, right? Until I got to that community college, and it just wasn't with the fact that I had to work, and I had to, I wasn't quite focused, and everything started to go wrong. So all the way through my first degree, I just did just enough so I can get by. And frankly, I didn't know the importance of GPAs. I didn't care for it, right? And I just get by, right? So that's how I finished college, and I finished master's degree. So by the time I was finishing master's degree, I went through this other class on trying to learn some programming. At the time, this is 2005, 2004/2005. Mobile phones were not really that hot, right? Like smartphones, not mobile phones. Smartphones were not hot, right? So there were new programmings. There were people trying to design smartphones, smart apps, and things like that. And I wanted to pick that up and really learn it. But again, I wasn't focused. It just wasn't what I wanted to do, right? So one day, my pastor's wife very randomly mentioned, "Why don't you get into flipping real estate and something like that?" And I'm like, flipping real estate, like, yeah, you can buy and sell real estate, and you can make a lot of money doing that. I'm like, oh, sounds, for some reason it just clicked. And I called one of my friends at the time, and I said, hey, have you ever thought, because I know at the time that his mother and himself were buying houses to hold and to rent out to people. As a matter of fact, we used to practice music, because we had a band that we used to go into one of the houses and just practice there. And that's what we used to do back in 2003, 4, and 5 for leisure. And but anyway, by the time I called him and I said, "Listen, I'm good." Then he recommended some other class, first time home buyers class in East Orange, New Jersey. The name of the place was NIDA, something like that, in East Orange, New Jersey, where we could attend a first time home buyers class. There were title companies there. There were mortgage companies there. There were, realtors there, and there was this realtor that was like, yeah, I can get you qualified. They all say that they can get everybody qualified. It's like you go to that dealership where everybody say everyone drives, right? But he said that. I'm like, you get me qualified? I knew that my credit wasn't the best. So because I had messed up my credit with a $300 Macy's card long before that. So I knew, but he said, no, that's not a problem. That's not really credit. I can get you qualified. I was like, yeah, you can. So before I knew it, I looked at a couple of houses. I even met another lady that I met at some other program. And because I had been digging up and trying to see what I could do, I think I encountered some internet marketing stuff as well too. Some classes where I could learn how to drop ship and things like that, right? Um, couple of things that I looked at before I settled in for real estate, right? So in 2004 December, I was watching late night TV infomercials because I saw quite a few of them that were advertising on infomercials. Nowadays, you don't see them on infomercials anymore because it's overpriced, and it's ridiculously a dinosaur way of advertising these days. You see them on the internet. All the gurus are on the internet today, right? So at the time, it was infomercials late night. You order some CDs, you order some tapes, you order some materials. They send it to you for free, and that was just how that worked. So, and well, anyway, I saw one, and then I attended the class, and then I think I paid $200 or something like that. I came up with a big pack of folders on how to get money grants from the government and how to use that to start a business and thing. And and then the next thing, there was a lady that I met there in one of the classes, and the next thing, she's also the realtor because I called, I checked online, I checked some houses. A realtor came to show me a house in Belleville, New Jersey. Lo and behold, that's the same lady that I saw in the class, and we started to talk a little bit more. And then I think I may have ended up in some other class with Primerica, which is another company in network marketing, and saw her there. I just noticed I'm seeing the same faces, pretty much. But I ended up in another program, okay, where it was completely free, and at the end of it, they sold me a two. So at this time, I was determined I have to narrow down on one thing. I can't be all over the place. I can't be trying to do so. I quit my class that I was taking um, in Somerset, New Jersey, for how to program mobile phones, right? How to design apps and things like that. I just told the guy, I said, I'm not interested anymore. I just quit. I used to drive down there every afternoon and buy lunch, and it's coming back to me right now as I'm sharing it with you, right? So I quit that one. So I went through this class, $200. They said they would teach me everything I need to know, $200 in 3 days. By the time I spent the 3 days, I was soaked in, and I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And but then, when you just know that this is what you want to do, and but yet they're offering you to make it easier for you, another class or a 2 weeks or extended program, mentoring program for $3,000. $3,000, right? So I called the same friend that I called before to let's partner up together. My friend that was already buying houses with his mother, and I said, listen, I don't have the money. Can you let me use your credit card, and then when I use your credit card, I'll give you the money back in 2, 3 months or something like that. I'll give you the money back. I'll pay you back, which I did pay back, but I used his credit card, and in exchange for him becoming my partner. Okay. So, sadly, up to now, I think we will partner sometime soon on some projects, but up to now, we've never really partnered together on anything to make money together, but, he was my partner on paper for that program. And I went through the program, and it was essentially, the mentorship was like an email. If I have any questions, they send me a bunch of materials and things like that, and I took that. I think also before all of this, I had already taken classes with even invest tools to learn how to trade stocks and stock options. I mean, you can look at all of this and you just know that I've always had it in me that I had to build my own business and build my own destiny. Okay. And maybe you feel the same way. Maybe you can dig in deeper and you can see that it's always been there. Because sometimes if you don't have purpose, if you don't have motivation could just be as who you are, right? For me, it's just who I am, right? My motivation has evolved since then to, I got a family, I got my kids I have to take care of. I got a family, extended family, parents, in-law that I would love to take care of, right? And those are some of my biggest motivation today. So the motivation continues to evolve, but originally there was a motivation there, and it's the fact that this is just who I am. All right. So that class, there was one that $3,000 program. There was only one tip that I collected out of it. There's only one tip, and that tip was essentially that I needed to join a local real estate association. Okay, a local real estate investors association. We call them the REIA, local REIA, REIA, real estate investment Real Estate Investment Association. All right, and the first one that I found was a platform at the time called the Garden State Real Estate Investment Association. GSREA was what we called it back then, and it used to be conducted. This was again back in 2005 6, and this was conducted at the Sheraton. Now they call it the Renaissance, in Woodbridge, New Jersey. And we used to go pay $25 at the door for the first day, and then you become a member for like $200 for the year, and you never have to pay anymore. And on the first, I remember on the first day there was a gentleman that was making a presentation about the strategy called short sales, and his name was Richard Douglas. Yes, Richard Douglas. He called himself at the time the short sale king, and he was selling his course at the end of the night for $300. And here's what you will notice about any presentation: you're soaking in a lot. A lot. It's not like you understand it step by step, but it's making sense to you. You see a lot of testimonials, right? And then at the end of the night, they present to give you an offer, right? That I'll show you how to do everything. I'll give you all the material. And that was essentially exactly how it went down. Just another course, okay? $300 I paid that day out of my own pocket, and I got started. But at the on the outside of the room, after I paid for the course that day, I met a gentleman called Bob. His name is Bob. He's still my mortgage banker to today. Okay. And he said, let me introduce you to one guy. And he introduced me to a person that will be my mentor for the next 2 years after that. His name was Anthony. And then I met Anthony, who said, hey, yeah, let's talk, like blah blah blah, and then we started. He said, listen, if you find deals, we'll bring it, we'll do business together, we'll split the money 50-50. I was like, that makes sense. So, and I started marketing from what I learned from Richard Douglas' course. I started marketing, and then I even remember at the time I started marketing in the place where he identified as his zone. It was Camden, New Jersey, and he didn't like the fact that I was marketing and having some of his leads calling me too. That was how aggressive I went. Okay, I literally dominated everywhere with my letters. I was doing direct mailing to pre-foreclosures. Okay, which is still a strategy that works, considering that you don't quit on yourself too early. Okay, because the numbers are not the same, but if you understand that it's a perpetual game, then you can still win. Absolutely. So but anyway, I started marketing, and I got my first 4 leads. I stopped marketing in Camden because it was too far anyway. I mean, the first lead that called me was a completely situation that was just a deadbeat that was dead. And I drove all the way out there with my Chrysler Cirrus at the time, and my girlfriend at the time, who is my wife today, actually went with me, and we drove about 2 hours to go see a lead, to go see if it was just a learning process, because obviously today I don't drive to go see a house that's not completely locked in already, right? um but anyway, we drove down there. It was a good learning experience. I knew that I didn't want to work in Camden, so it was a learning experience, right? So, but we came back, and then I started marketing in Newark, East Orange, Irvington primarily. Okay, and then I picked up my first 4 leads. Okay, and I shared it with Anthony, who was again my new mentor, and his job was to pretty much work it. These are leads that were underwater. In other words, they were owing much more than the house is worth, and he actually came to the appointments with me. Okay, so he would come to the appointment with me. He would drive his BMW at the time. It was a very nice car, right? I was driving my Chrysler Cirrus, right? I think it was 7 years old at the time, that would literally die every mile I drove, you know. But anyway, gone are those days. So the next thing, four leads, right, was in the works. He was working on it, and then there was a lead that came in, and the guy was owing less than the value of the property. There was equity in the property. So I was like, this doesn't need any short sale. Let me see if I can work it myself. While Anthony, my mentor, was working on the other 4 leads, right? This was 2005. I graduated, again, master's degree in May, right? I started the course that I purchased, the $3,000 was purchased in December of 2004. So I didn't really get busy until after I graduated with my master's degree, because I was doing classes and all those kind of things. The next 6 months after that, I started pounding, got my first 4 leads right into the system. First 4 leads into the system. And let me see. So the next thing is I have this fifth lead that had equity in it. And what I did was that I marked it up $20,000. I took an option, okay, an option to buy, which is essentially a contract that say I give you the right to I give you the right to purchase this property within a certain period of time at a certain price amount, right? So anytime you see somebody say a contract for a contract with an assigned or that means a contract that you can assign it to another person. You put a house under contract for $120,000, right? And the property is worth $200,000. You put it under contract for $120,000 and that contract was accepted. It's basically an option to purchase the property at 120 because anything can happen that you may not be able to close. Okay. So I see people ask all the time, how do you get out if you couldn't close? You just get out. Okay. It was just an option. You don't close until you close. There's a reason why there's a closing. Okay. Because that's when you seal everything. If there's no money, there's no closing. There's no really valid contract in reality if there's no money. Okay. But there's an option. Okay. It's a sign that there's an open, like I'll let you take this house away from me because this house is a liability. And that was essentially what that deal was. Okay. So I forgot what the number was exactly, but I knew that I marked it up $20,000 and I found a buyer. And when I found a buyer, there was a lot of buyers and straw buyers and things like that around, which is illegal, by the way. But there were people that were recommending buyers. Okay. And what I did was that I found a buyer, and the buyer was willing to pay the price, and we went into a closing. And I didn't even have to find a lawyer. This is how I know that if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. All you have to do is just be good at marketing. That's what I teach you here. All you have to be good is good at marketing. Everything else will fall in place if you market to the right people and the right people pick up your offer. Okay, your offer is I'm going to help you get rid of this house. If the right people pick up your offer, everything else will work out. Okay, so but anyway, 20, I marked it up $20,000, and we were at the closing, and the $20,000 was marked into the closing sheet, into the closing hard statement. Okay, the $20,000 was right there, and it showed that I will be making that money. And the seller saw that money, and he was like, no, he's not gonna close. And he said, I'm making too much money from his house. And I'm like, okay, I'm making too much money from your house, but I don't know what you mean by too much money. To me, it's not too much money. It's money that I'm making for helping you get rid of your house. And he was like, nope. So what I had to do was, again, I had to show my entrepreneurial skill. Nobody trained me this, right? Remember, I had this other four leads that were supposed to be the first four, and they're still in the short sale process. So I haven't closed any deal ever before. This was December 2005, and I now said, you know what? I'll give you $10,000 more. So I splitted my fee two-way, and I gave him, and he said, okay. And then we closed, and I made my first $10,000 ever December 2005, just before Christmas. I took $5,000 out of it, and I went and bought a Chrysler Concorde. I was using a Cirrus, right? That was almost dead, and I bought a Chrysler Concorde from Jersey City. Again, my girlfriend at the time, now my wife today of 10 years, 11 years soon, followed me to go buy that car. So that was how I got started in real estate. Okay. And the lesson I want you to take away from there is that 99% of things that you hear about in flipping real estate, flipping houses, 99% of things you're going to get from the guru, you're not going to need. Okay. You're going to be very good at one thing. You're going to find that one thing. Okay. And the only way to find that one thing is to really get started from wherever you are. Right. But I think that one thing for most people that are really good at flipping houses and wholesaling and things like that, that one thing is marketing. Just knowing how to promote. Okay. If you know how to do that, everything else is not really your responsibility. How to look up title work is not your responsibility. How to make sure that you're doing everything legal outside of no cheating, no stealing, no lying is not your responsibility, right? How to make sure that the mortgage is qualified is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is primarily marketing. That's the message I want you to take away from this. So I closed my first deal. Uh, there were elements of things I learned from my mentor, but I didn't really close my first deal with him, right? I closed my first deal. The first people I bought the first courses from, I didn't really close with them either. There's something I want you to pick out of that, because a lot of people think they must follow everything to the books to close their first deal. There's a very, very high chance that if you follow everything to the books, in any guru course you purchase, you are going to miss the boat and you're not going to close your first deal. So what I always advise people is to try to understand the concept so you can execute, because any when you understand the concept you can execute in any way that makes sense to you, and it doesn't have to be according to the books, as long as again you're not cheating, stealing, or lying. Okay, so with that being said, I want to share with you, I want to do a summary again. The best video to watch for this is the previous video that I showed you how to search. Just search for what is wholesale house flipping Ola on YouTube. You see that video that will go into details of this. Okay, and but let me do a quick summary of everything you need to master, that you need to know. Okay, the only thing you really need to know in this game is, number one, your responsibility is to market, to find deals and put those deals under contract. Okay, what kind of deal? What is the deal? You need inbuilt equity. You need inbuilt equity, but sometimes the equity is not there and you have to create that equity with an exit strategy we call short sales. Again, you don't have to know how to do short sales. You just need to know that it exists. And if you find deals that's underwater means that they owe much more than the house is worth, then you say that's not a problem. Are you willing to walk away from this property as long as we take care of this, your obligation? If they say yes, you put it under contract, and then you take an authorization to release, and then you take the bank statement for the mortgage, and then you give it to a person that knows how to work a short sale, and they'll do the magic. Okay, the bank would let go of the house at a discounted rate, and now you create an inbuilt equity. Okay, and then the next responsibility is to sell it. Okay, the next responsibility after that is to sell, sell, sell. Again, it comes down, you can't sell unless you promote. So yet now you have this house with equity in it. Okay, anything anything equity 80% of the actual value and down, right? Then you can absolutely sell to the marketplace. Okay, but number four, your title is a marketer. You are a marketer. You're marketing to a list of sellers and a list of buyers. That's your responsibility as a house flipper. Okay, if you're a fix and flipper, obviously you have to fix the property if that's what you are, but I'm saying this is still your responsibility to learn how to market to sellers and to learn how to market to buyers alike. But you but I like the fifth concept here is list building. Okay, you can only really do list building on the internet for buyers. Your sellers, there's a list existing for that already, and you can check it out at www.myempirepro.com/redx. You can find a ton of people in pre-foreclosure, a ton of people that are already trying to sell their house for sale by owner, for rents by owner, which is typically tired landlords, right? All you have to do is ask them if they will consider selling their house. Pre-foreclosures, people that are 3 months or late on their mortgages already, many of them need to get rid of their house. All you need to do is ask. So the list already exists. The way we ask with a letter, or you can cold call them if you don't have money for letters. Okay. Um, also you can also do SEO. You can also do search engine optimization with videos for your local area, for people that are looking to sell, people that are looking to get rid of a property, motivated sellers, distressed properties. Okay, all you have to do is just become very good at marketing. Everything else is not really your responsibility. I know the other gurus try to teach you everything there is. They try to teach you what type of contract to use. The contract doesn't matter. You can download contract from the internet anywhere, and you can read it. If it makes sense to you, based on what you're trying to do, you do it. Or you can simply go to your local real estate association club and ask someone to please send you a copy of a real estate contract. You can also find this easily on the state websites, the standard ones. And some people say don't use the standard ones. I beg to differ. It really doesn't matter as long as you're dealing with motivated sellers. The right one to use, you will figure that out when the time is right. Okay, list building of buyers is paramount. if you want this business to become a business for you, if you don't want it to be just a hobby. Something that I was very, very good at, that got very good at between 2005 and 9, something that I got very, very good at was building a list of buyers. Because I promise you, the whole idea of cash buyers and somebody is just gonna cash buy your house because the deal makes so much sense, you're gonna find very slim to none possibilities. Okay, very slim to none. The way you're gonna find buyers is you're gonna treat everybody equally, and you're gonna find people that are interested in investing in real estate, and it could come from anywhere. It could be their first home ever to buy, and it could be their number 1,000th one to buy. It doesn't matter. As long as they are a real buyer, and it doesn't matter what kind of funding they're going to use. If they have the cash and they want to do that, great for them, cool for them. But if they want to use mortgage, there are ways to structure that. All you have to do is consult with a good investor friendly lawyer in your area. The best way to find them is again at the local real estate investment association. Okay, investor friendly lawyers, attorneys, right? And they will show you how to structure that. But your buyers, the point I'm making here is that your friend or family or that guy that seems like he has all the money that you is promised you that is looking for something to buy, there's a very high chance they will never buy from you. So I'm telling you, don't put anybody on the pedestal. Put everybody into your buyers list and treat them equally and give them some kind of value to keep them following you until you have your next deal. And eventually, you want to have deals flowing through your list and you want to send them deals. Not only your own deals, by the way, okay, you can also send them deals that are that were created by other people in the business, in the industry, right? Other wholesalers may have deals, but if you have a list of buyers, you can bring them buyers and you can make money 50-50 just from bringing them buyers. Because there's one thing that's missing. There's one thing that most people are missing in this game, okay? Including your savvy investor, including the savvy fix and flipper rehabber, including the realtor. There's one thing that all of them are looking for. There's one person that pays all of them, and that's the buyer. Okay, so guess what happens if you become the expert at being at building a list of buyers? That means you have food on your table all the time. So how do you build a list of buyers? Something I cover extensively in my myEmpirePRO.com. Sorry, when you download the book Empire Lifestyle Secrets at myEmpirePRO.com, that's what I cover. I strongly advise you to stop trying to say online or offline. There's no such thing as offline anymore. Everybody's online. You're watching me online right now. When you leave wherever you are right now and you're going right now, you're going to get to where you're going by using online to use the GPS. Everything is online. Okay, there's no such thing as offline. So the best way to build a list of buyers, some people say, is go to your local real estate association club. No, I beg to differ. Now that's a good way. Okay, you could add that's a good way to start. You could add everybody's business card information to your list, right? When you go there, collect business cards, get into the business of collecting business cards. Don't worry about giving your business cards, because you're trying to build a list of buyers. That's what you're trying to do. So when everybody is trying to market their houses, their wholesale houses, you can be the person bringing buy. You can nurture buyers, you can mentor buyers, and you can bring buyers to the table like that. Okay, and when you bring buyers to the table for other investors, other wholesalers, or realtors in the game, right, you make money. Okay, you keep food on the table. And then, some people say, do I need to have a do I need to have a license? Do I need to have a license in order to do this? No, it's not really required if you're operating from an equitable interest standpoint. But I suggest to just get the license. Just get the license. It gives you an edge over everybody else in the marketplace. If you're gonna be a professional in real estate, you might as well just go all in. Anything you go half-ass in, you're gonna miss out big time, and you're gonna make life harder for yourself. It takes what, I don't know, 2-3 weeks to finish a course and get the license. Get the license. You're not going in there to just go and be a realtor, but you have the license in case somebody says you're trying to broker without having a license. You just say, no, I have a license. And there's no and trust me, it doesn't block any deals when you tell people that I'm licensed. Okay, I want to put your house under contract, but just so you know, I'm a licensed agent. all that's required of you is full disclosure. Okay, that's all that they need to know. They need you to disclose to people that you are a full-time, not that you are in fact a licensed agent. That's the only requirement. Okay, so that's that right there. That's something I wanted to share with you. If you want, again, if you want more details, this was a summary that I gave you. Go through the book, myEmpirePRO.com. That's where you want to go, and download the book Empire Lifestyle Secret to learn how to build a list. Okay, you learn how to build a list on the internet. Okay, is that's really what you want to get good at. Okay, and that's what I'm teaching you, and that's what real estate wholesaling, that's what smart real estate wholesaling is. That's what smart house flipping is. Okay, and that's why I'm giving you the course, the free course, Smart Business Empire. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and look at some questions that may come up on YouTube, and see if we can spend another few minutes here hanging out with you, and see if there's any other questions. So what I did is I searched for how to get started flipping houses, and I'm going to the top videos here. This video was clearly an ad. Okay, it's an ad. It has 6 million views. You can tell it was an ad, right? And let's see, there's no comment on it. So yep, so that's not what we're looking for. This one is more of a video, investing for beginners. There you go. All right, so what I like to do is I like to go in the comment area and see what people are saying, and then we kind of like dissect it together for the next few minutes, and then we'll take it from there. Let's see, any comments? Come on, yeah, there you go. So here, but where do you get the $32,000 to buy the house from? All right, so I'm sure some people have answered already. Easy money sniper, he never paid 32K. From what I understood, he just said he will pay 32K to the original seller, and then found a second buyer to buy that house and used his money to pay the original seller. That's exactly correct. Okay. So essentially, you put a house under contract for $32,000. Okay, and you find a buyer. That $32,000, it was paid for a house that was probably worth about $55,000. Okay, $55,000. All right, and you find a buyer that's gonna that will take away that contract. You put the house under contract. You now own the contract. You now own the right to purchase the property at 32K. You turn around, you find an end buyer. Okay, an end buyer, somebody that said, "Hey, I'll pay you $5,000 to give me that contract. I know you have a contract to purchase this property. Let me give you $5,000, or let me give you $8,000, right? And I'm paying 8,000 plus 32. That's $40,000. So the end buyer end up paying $40,000 for the house, but it's still a good deal for them because that property is worth $60,000, right? So that's why. So now the person in the middle gets paid $8,000 for just finding the deal. That's why I told you that all you have to do is become a good marketer. Learn how to find and identify deals. Okay. So that's absolutely correct. Payday loan easy. So the person saying payday loan does not understand what the guy was saying in the video. Most likely not. This is just super. I've been trying to find out about real estate buying groups for a while now. I think this has. Okay, so that's not a question. Let's see here. So that was a question. That was a good question right there. Okay. Wow, I've watched countless amounts of videos, and this is by far the most understandable video I've seen. Good video. Thanks a lot. Okay, that's not a question. Okay. I'm new in the real estate information, and my question to you is, how do you get people to even set up a contract with you in the beginning without having any money to at least make down payment? Good question. Good question. Now, if you were in the regular market, right, with the realtor, and you want to put an offer in on the property, of course, they will ask you for three things. They will ask you for a down payment, usually $1,000 earnest deposit money if you're in New Jersey. They will ask you for a proof of funds for that shows that you can make the full down payment plus closing cost. Okay, that means a bank account or something like that that shows that that you have the money to make a down payment plus closing cost, and then you put in a contract that's signed by you for the amount of money you want to pay. Okay, a proof of funds or pre-qualification from a bank saying they will lend you the total full money. Okay, so for example, if you're buying a property for $32,000, you put a down payment. Sorry, earnest deposit money. Okay, some people call it EDM. Okay, $1,000, and then a proof of funds that shows that you have the rest of the $31,000. It could be a proof of funds in the bank, or it could be a pre-qualification or pre-approval from a bank that they will lend you the money, plus the contract of $32,000. So that's in a conventional market if you're dealing with a realtor, real estate agent, and things like that. But how do you avoid that is the question that this person is asking. How do you avoid having to put down earnest deposit money? I've personally closed over 40 deals, okay, and I've never had to put any money down ever, not a dime. Some people say if they ask, you can give them $10, but I've never put a dime down, okay. Why? Because I'm dealing with motivated sellers. I'm dealing with distressed property owners, okay? People that absolutely need to get rid of a property. They don't care about working with money. They don't care what the rules are, even though that's not really a rule, okay? They don't care. They just want to get rid of a property. And you're there to solve that problem, okay? You're not there to follow rules that are not really rules. You're not there to be anal because they don't want you to be anal either. You're there to say, this is your problem. I got you. I'm there. I'm here to help you solve that. You want to get rid of this property? I'm here to help you get rid of this property. And that's the conversation. In other words, you're there to solve a problem, and they're very clear on that. Now, if you're dealing with a conventional seller, of course, they will want an earnest deposit money. They will want to take it through a realtor. And in other words, there's no room for creativity. Okay. So the reason this question says, how do you get people to even set up a contract with you in the beginning? Because you're there and you say, I like your house. You owe how much? Okay. Okay. What do you think is worth? What's $60,000? Yeah, but I need to get rid of it. I don't care what it's worth. And you do your math, it's absolutely worth 60, and they're willing to walk away with $32,000. Say, you know what? I want to put it on that contract right now. We'll close in 5 to 7 days. Okay, if everything goes well, the inspection, my partners, if they're happy, right? And but I want you, can you give me a contract right now? Who's the decision maker? All right, just sign here that you're willing to sell me the house for 32K. They're willing to sign because they are motivated to sell. Some people say that, yeah, we're moving to Florida. We're very motivated. No, that's not motivation. You want to sell is not enough motivation in the game of finding and identifying deals for real estate wholesaling and house flipping. Okay, because you want to sell your house doesn't mean you're motivated. Okay, you absolutely must get rid of that house as of yesterday. It's motivation because you owe too much money to the bank, because you're in divorce, and because you already moved and you're paying 2 mortgages, because you inherited a property that you don't really want and you have to pay $300 in taxes every month. Those are the reasons why people absolutely want to get rid of a property, and those are the only people you're dealing with. Okay, all right. So this person says, I love this video, but what happens if you can't find a cash buyer? So, good question. If you remember, based on what I just taught you, you want to get good at building a list of buyers. Okay. The idea that you can't find a buyer is not really a real problem. Okay. It's not a real problem. There are multiple, maybe 2 or 3 reasons why you may not find a buyer. Okay. I don't care about cash buyer. All the money, mortgage, hard money, all that is cash. At the end of the day, it becomes cash in the bank. Okay. But the idea that somebody's going to come and dump cash on your house, the chances are slim to mostly none. Okay. Especially if you're a beginner. Okay. You probably just not going to find a good enough deal. They're going to give you excuses that it's not a good enough deal. It could be because they have other projects going on. There's very limited amount of real cash buyers in the marketplace. And that's a fact. People that are getting started always argue with me because they've drank the Kool-Aid of the gurus, and the gurus told them there's unlimited cash buyers. The fact of the matter is that there's unlimited cash, but they come from the bank usually. Okay, they come from lenders. Okay, so what happens if you don't find a cash buyer? Well, if you don't find a cash buyer, it means that you need to go back to the renegotiating table, and the deal that you secured was wrong. Okay, so if you secured the property at $32,000 and you couldn't find a cash buyer for that, or not cash buyer, sorry, you couldn't find a buyer at all in that market for that, chances are you negotiated a bad deal, and there's absolutely nothing wrong to say, listen, the inspections, the market, my partners are coming back and saying our numbers are pretty bad. Are you open to renegotiation? If they say no, say, yeah, I mean, let me know how things go out, and you could just walk away. That's it. There's no, oh, they could sue you. Sue you for what? Because you didn't purchase the property? No, they can't. People don't have time for that. Let me just tell you, most people rather move on. If the number was completely just wrong for them, they'll move on. So as far as lawsuits and things like that, there are multiple ways and multiple clauses in the contract, in a typical contract, to get you out of the deal. Okay. If they decide that they want to be uh, some type of asshole or something like that. If they decide they want to be that, which is very like I've never seen it. I've never heard such story. People are typically good people that are open to for negotiations. Okay, you're there to help them solve a problem, and then you came up with a deal, a number that just didn't work. But now you're ready to move on. Okay, all right. So let's go back here. All right. So this person say, "I'm a skeptic. This seems too easy and kind of sketchy." He's absolutely right. Okay, so it's like Henry Ford says, those who think they can and those who think they can't are both usually right. So if somebody is skeptical like this, we don't worry about that. We let them keep it moving. They can go back to whatever they're not skeptical about. Because if you're skeptical, it's going to affect your production, right? But what we're talking about here is real estate, is buying and selling real estate. You be the middleman to help connect buyers to sellers. From an equity securing standpoint, you make a lot of money doing that. Okay, and you could visit any real estate office in your local township, and they'll tell you that, yeah, we sell houses for 100, 200, $2 million, $13 million all the time. Okay, so I don't know what to be skeptical about, but uh let's see here. This person, what would happen if you find a cash buyer on time? If you don't find a cash buyer, I think we answer that. And how do you find them? You build a list of buyers online. Okay. So I build a list of buyers online. The way I do it is I have a separate website where I offer knowledge on how to buy real estate, the numbers to look for in exchange for people's contact information. And that's how I do it. And when I have a property to sell, I also advertise that on Craigslist. And when people want more photos and things like that, I tell them to opt into a simple form so they can get more photos, more details, and the financial statement of the property. When people opt in for that, I'm building my list. That's it. So how do you advertise on Facebook? How do you advertise on Google to get people looking at this properties, to build a followership of people that want to buy investment properties? How do you do that? That's something I cover in the book, but that's essentially what you need to do. Okay. You build a followership of people looking to buy investment properties or looking for more knowledge about it. Okay. It's ILDT. You invest in more knowledge. You're learning it, you're teaching it, and you're doing it by having houses to offer people on that list from time to time. ILDT. That's the formula right there. Okay. So that's how we do it. Okay. Also, what if cash buyers want to close the deal with the original seller and take you out of the agreement? Then if that ever happened to you, okay, it's typically because you're dealing with a one-off in every 1 million people. Okay, most people are good people that would not do something crazy like that. Worst case scenario is the story I gave you earlier, where the guy said, listen, I'm not going to close because you're making too much money off of me. And what I did is I renegotiated. I could have just given him $5,000 and make 15, but I offered him 10 because I was desperate and I wanted to close my first deal, 10 grand, right? It was supposed to be 20 grand, but it's now 10 grand. It was still a good payday. Okay. And since that moment, I would never go back to just being a 9 to 5 worker ever again. Okay. So if somebody just wants to like outrightly take you out and deal with like, first of all the paperwork you've been signing since the beginning of the contract would not allow for that, because usually you're at the closing before they meet the other party. And at that point in time is they're everybody's ready for closing. They're not thinking about how to be bad. They're not thinking about how to take people out. They're just thinking about usually you're dealing with a motivated seller that need to be out of the house. And in the case of short sales and You're giving them $1,000, $2,000 for purchase of a couch behind their house, just so they can have some money for moving, right? The bank doesn't even want them to walk with anything, because the bank is taking a huge loss, right? So these are issues that you never have to worry about. You only have to worry about that if you are living in a place where 100% or 99% of the people are just bad, and they're looking to kill the next people next door every day. My point is that most people are good people. Okay, that's my point. Okay, all right. So let's scroll down here. Actual buyers do ask to check the property upside down. How did you manage this inspection if you were not the owner yet? Actual buyers, yeah, well, again, you're dealing with numbers in most cases. And as far as actual buyers check the property upside down, like I said earlier, in wholesaling and house flipping, that's not really your responsibility. That's the responsibility of inspector, home inspection. Okay, and maybe a contractor. If you're trying to fix and flip, then you need to bring in a contractor to give you estimates on how to fix. And typically, as you do that and you do that over and over, you're learning too as well. So your ability to be able to make estimates even without the textbook bring three contractors kind of craziness, right? Increases over time. Your ability, like you become very good at this over time because you're around it, right? So the actual bias thing is a skeptical phrase. Okay, it's a phrase coming out of skepticism. Um, and somebody's still deciding to call you a non-actual buyer. You are an actual buyer if you're a real estate wholesaler and a flipper. Okay, you just have partners. Okay, you have partners that will actually be the end buyer. Okay, so there's no such thing as actual and non-actual buyers. Okay, it's not no such thing. If there was, then all of this would be legal, right? And like I said, there's a real trade-off. There's a real trading going on, and willing parties that are open to the idea of doing the trading, and somebody's problem is being solved. Somebody is getting a house that they can fix and flip for a profit. Somebody's getting rid of a house that they don't want, right? And you are also getting paid for facilitating the transaction. Okay, everybody are actually actual buyers except the seller. Okay, and by the way, this business model can help a lot of realtors that know how to find deals for investors like this. So this is not in any way taking away business from realtors. If anything, it adds more transactions into the marketplace as comps and even as a real business that they can make commissions from. Okay. How do I find a home buyers list in my area? Home buyers list is something you build. That's what you learn when you download my book, Empire Lifestyle Secrets, at myEmpirePRO.com. You build that, and that's where I think you have a lot of lucrative opportunity. Okay, so like for example, this evening I'm actually going out to meet some potential partners that I want to negotiate with, so I can help them get rid of their properties. Okay, very simple, right? Let's see. But why doesn't the cash buyer just buy direct from the seller and cut you out? Because it's called a marketplace, and do you have access to the rest of the 7 billion people in this world? No, you don't. Okay. So if I have access to three people out of those 7 billion people, and your buyer is within those three people, I can get paid for connecting you with them. It's called connection. You get paid for connection, for connecting the transaction together. Okay. So the person that's going to buy your next house, it's not necessarily within your existing circle of influence. If somebody helps you link that together, you make money. Okay, you make money by selling your property, and you pay them a little bit of fee for helping you find that person. Okay, if it was a realtor, you pay them a fee for listing it into the market. If you was a equity real estate wholesaler, you pay them for helping you find that buyer in their network. They bring their partner to the table to buy your property. Why would they want to cut you out? You're getting the exact solution that you bargained for, right? So again, that's skeptical questions. That's normal. I get those questions all the time. Where do you get the agreement documents? Go to your local real estate association and just chit chat with people, okay? Or Google it. You'll find some, okay? You find some that will actually make sense. You find a couple, and if they look alike, that's probably the what you're looking for, okay? So one last question. So basically, you find a house and buy below market value if they say yes. Absolutely correct. And immediately afterward, you find some investor and tell them your business plan and borrow money from them and close the deal. No, You find an investor that actually wants the deal, and they take the deal, the contract that you signed, away from your hands for a fee. And they're happy to do that all day long. Okay. So that's what I have for you today. Hopefully, you enjoy that. Again, go through this channel, subscribe to this channel, share this video with somebody you think may like it. If you can't think of anyone, just click the share button below and to share to your social media platform, your favorite one, and everyone can see this video. And if you like anything I've said so far that makes sense, please give me a thumbs up. I will really, really appreciate that. The most important part of all of this is list building of your buyers list. If you want to start making money right away, learn how to build a buyers list, learn how to bring buyers to the marketplace. That's what I'm teaching here. Learning how to bring buyers to the marketplace, build a list of buyers. How do you do that? How do you nurture them? How do you build an offer around it? How do you make money before somebody even buy a property? How's that, right? That's what I'm calling smart house flipping, smart real estate wholesaling. That's something you're going to learn on the inside with the Smart Business Empire 7-day course at myEmpirePRO.com, and also in the book Empire Lifestyle Secrets. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated, and I will see you on the next one. And peace.